Hello, my name is Veronica, and welcome to the Learning Lab, episode 35, Easy Peasy Never Ending Card. That's right, I came up with a technique that makes this super complicated looking card really quick and easy to put together. So come on into today's lab and let me share with you just what I discovered. When I was looking at people who were doing this on YouTube, I noticed that they had two panels on this side that they put together. I'm going to flip this. And then two panels on the other side going the opposite direction. And I looked at it and thought, you know, really? This is just one piece of paper that's been cut in half horizontally. And let me turn this. And then another piece that's been cut in half vertically with some score marks. Once I looked at it from that angle, I realized it was a card that I wanted to attempt. So let me take you through it from the top. So I started out with a 12 by 12 piece of paper. If you're using the paper that has the extra strip on it, like the We Are Memory Keepers whiteout paper, just simply remove that, and this should measure a true 12 by 12. So I took that and cut it in half. And then I took the half and cut that in half so that I wound up with 4 pieces of paper, or enough to make 2 never-ending cards. Now before I move on, if you purchase any of that We Are Memory Keepers paper by the pound, the 6 by 6 that's already cut for you, this will work beautifully. Now, what I learned with doing this is that you want your center panel to be double what the two end ones are. So for example, if I want this to measure 3, and because this is 6, this is going to be 1.5 and 1.5. So those are the 2 score marks I make. If it were an 8 by 8 square and I want my center panel to be 4, then I would do 2 over here and 2 over here at the score marks. So therefore, when I fold it in, both of these will meet together to cover the 4. So just remember, whatever this is, these two are going to be half of what that mark would be. Let's use this side of the paper. I think it might be a little easier to see, and I'm facing my scoreboard to the camera, hoping you'll be able to follow what I'm doing. So here I'm going to find the 1.5 and make my score mark. And I know that over here I would make my other mark at 4.5. Let's take the other piece and do the exact same thing. Now if you're afraid of making your marks in the wrong place, don't worry about it. Just take your card, turn it around, and make another mark at the 1.5. And then you're guaranteed to have them lined up the right way. Now while I still have this in, I know that this measures 6, so that my halfway point is 3. So on there, I'm just going to put a light score, because it's not going to be a fold line. It's actually going to be a cut line for me. So lightly on my 3 mark, I'll make a very light score. I'll bring back in the other piece, except this time I'm going to rotate it so that my lines are going this way. And I'm going to do the same thing at the 3. I want to put a light score mark coming across, because that's going to be my cut line. Okay. Now that we've done our scoring, let's go ahead and reinforce those 2 outside score lines. And that's going to be the one here and the one down here. Because your card is going to fold both ways, go ahead and crease your card both ways. And what I want to do at this point is to adhere some adhesive just to the upper and lower quadrants of where I made my score lines. And for this, I am going to use some of the Terrifically Tacky tape from Provo Craft. And one little thing I did was I went ahead and cut all my tape to the measurement it needed to be, and then I just restuck it back onto the roll so that when I'm ready for it, it's going to pull off. Yep, easy peasy. So let's do that. You can see how easy it is just to remove the amount that I need and adhere that down onto my card. Just be careful that you don't get any of your tape onto the score line, because then you'll have a never opening card. Just going to remove my red line tape, but I'm going to do it a couple of pieces at a time. So I'll start up here. So I'm going to use my fingertip knife to help me to remove this red line tape in just one corner. Sorry, it's really close, but I wanted you to see what I was doing. So now we have these two corners exposed. And then I'm going to take this one, because I am working with the one that has the little cut line running across this way. My top is going to have my cut line running this way. So let's just simply pop that into place. Oops, how about this? Yellow side to yellow side. Turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. Then once you remove the tape off the bottom, press the other one into place, and don't worry about if any of the edges don't meet up. You can always use your trimmer and trim those. So now, here's my card. Next step. Now remember that light score mark that we made across here? I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but there it is. I'm just simply now going to cut along that mark. I only want to cut the top piece of card, so make sure that you keep your hand or something in there to keep that separated from the bottom, so you do not inadvertently cut through both pieces, or else you'll end up with a never working card. So if you have long scissors, you can probably do it in one swipe, but since mine is short, I'll go a little more than halfway, then come and connect it from the other side. Okay, and there's one done, and you can see your card already starting to come together. So now we're going to cut it going widthwise. I'm going to do the same thing, making sure I leave this open with my hand inside so that I don't cut the bottom piece. And there you are. You've now cut that, and again you can see where your card is going to start to come together. So you've made a cut on this side, and you've made a cut on this side. And if you look at this side, it's pretty much ready to go. You're just going to simply take your bone folder and press down those fold lines nice and tight. Let's turn the card again, going this way. And here's where it comes in that you're going to have to do a little fiddling with it yourself. When you press down, it's going to naturally want to fall, and if you watch this little part here, you can see where those two start to come together. You're going to just kind of eyeball it so that they line up, and give these a press, and kind of eyeball the center of it here, and just see that they kind of are in line with each other, and press out the rest. Now here's where you'll go and really fiddle around with it to make sure that it's going to be smooth for you. So I'll give this a finger press, give this side a finger press, and I've made sure that those line up. I'll go over to the other side, give the top one a finger press, come down here, finger press, and nice and lined up. Really crease it down now with my bone folder. Next one, I'll turn it this way, and then I'm going to turn it this way. Thank you for joining me in the lab today as we took a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, cut it down to 4 6 by 6, put two of those together, a couple of score marks, two cuts, and easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's the simplest never-ending card that you'll probably ever put together. Please remember to visit my blog at inkallusions.blogspot.com, where you're going to find a lot more information and inspiration. Until then,